Hey there, it's Dorleen, and today I'm working on a masterboard. I've decided to make some more cards using my stamps that are in my nature drawer. This is all part of my Bash Your Stash stamps version. You can read about that on my blog, which is www.craftsinthecommandcenter.blogspot.com. That information will be down below, and I'll also have it probably up on the screen some point during this recording. But right now I'm just I went through my brown tan scraps, just grabbed some that I liked that had a little bit of design that would, eventually I'm going to cover it, but I do like putting a little bit on the paper. So you see now I'm pulling out some acrylic inks, white and green, and I just have it's not even an old, you know how you get those credit cards in the mail, they're not real, but they have your name on it. I use those a lot for my mixed media projects. So I'm just scraping on some paint here and there, really no rhyme or reason, just putting color on that masterboard. I'm also using a brown color and I do the same thing. As I'm going through this, I look and I think, ooh, that is a lot of really brown. You know what color I'm thinking. But it's all good because I do continue to just keep covering it. That ink bottle that I have, I purchased that at a yard sale years ago. I probably should have shaken it up a little bit more because the dropper wasn't working, but I just put a paintbrush in there and I just did some scribbles here and there just to kind of use up the ink that I had laid on there. I did pull out some stencils. You forget about stuff you have until you start using them. But I have 3 stencils that are actual animal prints. So I do pull those out later. But this one I thought kind of fit look kind of scaly to me, or maybe even like a giraffe skin. I did the spray. I thought it was going to do a coverage for the stencils, but it really just ended up putting drops everywhere. So that was a little bit of a bust, but it's okay because I did get some color on there. And that's just like a really bright green, which I thought was really fun. I tried to do a lot of what I thought would be animal or jungle colors. So that's why you see the greens and the browns, black. Right now I have white. And earlier I did stencils in like a light gray. So this is you could tell that's a zebra print. I decided to double that because I didn't like the fact that it just kind of started and ended in one random spot. With the masterboard, what I do is I knew I was making cards out of these and I was making 4 cards. So I knew that I wanted to start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet, or 8.5 by 11, sorry, because I was going to cut it into fourths. So I knew each corner was going to be a different card base. So that helped when I put down the stencils and even some of the designs. That circle thing that I put down there is a homemade accidental stencil. I cut some circles out, or punched some circles out for a different project, and decided to keep it because I thought it would work as a stencil. I did add the red. I love the red on there. It just really pops, and it still does kind of follow that color scheme. I have some of that Heidi Swap gold spray. If you've used it, you know that you shake it and then you shake it a little more. And then even when you think you're done, you shake it a little more. That white drop is a homemade paint, watered down paint. Basically, it's water and acrylic paint in a bottle. And I dropped some of that. And right now I'm using some of those Vicky Booten, I believe is how you say her last name. And they're those pencils that are water-based. So I put some over around the red, kind of give some highlights. I initially used the brush and I didn't like the way it was spreading, so that's why I just used my finger. I think most of the time when I mess around like this, it's just so much easier to use your fingers. It does get pretty messy in the end, but that's fun. That's part of the fun. I pulled out this navy blue that was part of that crayon set. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even have thought to use navy blue, but it was on there. And then as I was putting it on, I thought, oh my God, it looks so pretty. I just love the way that looks. So I ended up putting a little bit more than I had originally anticipated because I just thought I would, put a little bit here and there, but I really do like the way that looks. So I love the way this masterboard is turning out. And the fun part is you see it as a whole, but you really don't know what it's going to look like until you cut it apart and use it for whatever your project is. And like I said, in my case, it was cards. So I just used the side of that fake credit card and put some ink to put some lines here and there. The stamp that I'm using is from a stamp set that I created from Bloom Art Stamps. She's on Etsy if you wanted to check her out, but I did create 3 different element stamps, and they're just kind of random marks for this type of thing. So with that, I scraped some of that light gray acrylic paint again, just to kind of tone down some spots. And I just use a spatula, plastic spatula that I have. And that is going to complete the Masterboard. I'm going to show you the completed thing or piece right now. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? And then when I cut it down, you'll be able to see how pretty it looks on the different cards. I decided to use black cardstock for the base. I thought that would really pop against them. I did have to trim those down to 4 by 5 1/4, which gives me a 1/4 inch border around the cards. So the stamps that I'm using again are from my nature stamp drawer. And I'm going through a series called Bash Your Stash. Again, you can read more about that on my blog, which is www.craftsinthecommandcenter.blogspot.com. And I received these stamps. They were gifted to me through my sister's sister-in-law. She passed away and left a lot of stamps and other supplies, and we were able to receive a lot of that, and which was really amazing. You can read about her also. Her art name was Rubber Paws. You could read about her on my blog as well. I put a link there. I'll put my blog address down below in the comments. But normally when I leave comments, or when I write the comments below, I don't put a whole lot because I usually do this on my phone, and typing on a phone is so annoying. So all the details will be on my blog. I used some twine to wrap around the card once I adhered that piece of the Masterboard onto the card base, tied it into a little bow, and then I'm going to adhere those giraffes, which by the way I didn't mention, but obviously they were watercolored on by using some Tombow watercolor markers. I just put it on the acrylic block and use a wet paintbrush to apply the colors. And I did apply it very loosely because I saw this, it's over the lines a little bit, so a little bit of shading, but it just looks really nice that way. So once I adhere that on, I know I need a sentiment, and I was being a little lazy to go through my sentiment pile, so I pulled out, I forget what they're called. They're called little words or itty words or something like that from Tim Holtz. And I added those to actually each one of the cards, which you'll see later when I show you all of them. The other stamp was, so you just saw I think it's a mother and child giraffe. I'm sure that's what it is because one's larger than the other, but I guess it could be a larger male and a smaller female. Who knows, right? But anyways, I did 2 giraffes. Because I really, really, really like that stamp. This was the first time, believe it or not, I used the zebra stamp, and I liked that as well. Going through my Bash Your Stash series, what I'm doing is I'm going through these drawers of stamps that I have, because I don't really know what I have. I've bought so many from years, and I've been gifted stamps. I've been given some just like as free gifts, just whatever, right? And you forget what you have. So I'm going through, and what I did is I separated them all by, like, let's say birds, dogs. In this case, it was zoo animals. I had farm animals. And anyways, I kind of went through them. And then there's some stamps that I just knew I wasn't ever going to use again, just from the style, or maybe I just had believe it or not, I had a lot of bird stamps, which I didn't even know I had a lot of bird stamps. So I picked a few that I really liked, and then the rest I'm thinking, I gotta get rid of these. I do have a donate pile. If you are interested at all in seeing any of my stamps that I'm donating, please leave me a message either here or on my blog. I'd be more than happy to gift you with some beautiful stamps. But anyhow, the first drawer that I went through was nature. I did a bunch of stamps, cards with them. I did probably keep more than I thought, but I did get rid of a lot. Or like I said, I put them in a donate pile. Don't worry, I'm not throwing them out. And you can look at that on my blog too. You can look, there's a label that's called Bash Your Stash, and you can see what I've done. So it's my turn to go through this animal drawer. So these are the first projects that I'm using with that. I did the giraffes, the zebra, and then that elephant. And my favorite animal is an elephant, so I knew I was keeping the elephant. And I have used this stamp before. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love stamps that show, or even pictures, that show the back of things. I think it's hilarious, and I love this little back-ended look at this elephant. But sorry, I got totally sidetracked. But you could see what I did. Nothing really fancy. I mean, that paper just is the whole card. Am I right? I mean, they're just so, it pops. It's fun. It's different. You'll never be able to recreate something like this. And it's perfect with those animals. So I'm really excited about sending these to somebody. If you would love a handmade card from me, whether it's actually addressed to you or you'd like it to be blank so you can use it for someone else, please leave me a message below at the comments. Or again, go to my blog and leave a comment, because that is one of my 2020 goals. My word of the year is connect, and I've been sending at least one card a week. Most weeks I've been sending more because I have planned cards that I'm sending, and then I find out that, somebody graduated, or unfortunately somebody passed away, and I'm sending a sympathy card, or now with this shelter in place, this is May 2020. I don't know when you're watching this, but we've had a lot of requests, hey, I don't, we don't know these people, but they're having a birthday. Can you send them a card? And I'm like, yes. So I'm getting rid of a lot of cards, but here's all 4 of them. I love the way these turned out. I'm probably going to try to do something like this again, but please give me a thumbs up if you like this. See ya.